Far below the reach of sunlight, the deep ocean becomes a different kind of world. A world ruled not by speed or abundance, but by patience. Food is rare, light is almost non-existent, and every creature that lives here must evolve strategies to survive in a place where energy is precious. The predators of this dark realm are specialists. They do not chase prey across long distances. That would waste far too much energy. Instead, they wait, perfectly still, sometimes for hours, sometimes for days. Then, in a single instant, they strike. One of the most famous hunters of the deep is the anglerfish. From its head extends a thin, glowing lure produced by bioluminescent bacteria living inside its body. In total darkness, this faint light becomes irresistible to curious fish drifting nearby. When prey moves close enough, the anglerfish's jaws snap shut in a fraction of a second. But it is not the only predator adapted to the abyss. The dragonfish patrols the darkness with a far stranger weapon, an invisible beam of red light. Most deep-sea creatures cannot see red wavelengths at all, which means the dragonfish can illuminate its surroundings without revealing its presence. To its prey, the hunter remains completely unseen. Then there is the gulper eel, a creature that seems almost unreal. Its body is thin and snake-like, but its mouth is enormous, sometimes wider than the eel itself. The jaws can stretch open like a net, allowing it to swallow prey nearly as large as its own body. In the deep ocean, opportunities to eat are unpredictable. When food appears, you cannot afford to let it escape. Yet even these specialized predators have limits. Some animals of the abyss have evolved a very different defense strategy. Instead of hiding, they simply grow too large to attack. Take the giant isopod, a distant relative of the tiny pillbugs found in gardens on land. In shallow environments, these crustaceans remain small. But in the depths, they can grow to the size of a football. Their bodies are covered in thick, armored plates, forming a natural shield that few predators can break through. When threatened, they can even curl into a defensive ball, protecting their softer underside. To a hungry predator, attacking such a creature may require more energy than the meal is worth. And in the deep sea, wasting energy can mean death. After all, when food is scarce, predators prefer easier targets. For some animals, however, size is not just protection, it is power. Consider the colossal squid, a mysterious giant that lives thousands of meters below the surface. Unlike its more famous relative, the giant squid, this species is built like a deep-sea predator. Its tentacles are armed not only with suction cups, but also with rotating hooks designed to grip and tear flesh. Evidence of its battles can be seen on the bodies of sperm whales, which sometimes carry deep circular scars across their skin. These marks are believed to be the result of violent struggles far below the waves, encounters between two of the ocean's most powerful hunters. In these confrontations, size is not merely defensive, it is a weapon. Even animals that seem fragile benefit from large bodies. Drifting slowly through the darkness is the giant red jellyfish, a strange creature with thick, flowing arms instead of delicate tentacles. Its bell can grow wider than a meter across, making it far larger than most jellyfish found near the surface. Few fish attempt to attack it. Its size, combined with its toxic tissues, makes it an unappealing meal. Predators simply pass it by, searching for smaller prey that requires less effort to consume. Scientists believe this pattern may be explained by a concept known as the predation-release hypothesis. In environments where predators are rare, animals face less pressure to remain small, fast, and hidden. Instead, evolution may favor organisms that grow larger over time. Near the ocean surface, being small can help an animal hide in coral, dart through rocks, or escape into narrow crevices. But in the open plains of the deep sea, hiding places are almost non-existent. Speed is expensive. Energy is limited. Under these conditions, growing larger may actually become the safer strategy. Of course, not every deep-sea creature becomes a giant. Many remain tiny, delicate, and nearly transparent, blending perfectly into the surrounding darkness. But for those species that do grow to enormous sizes, their scale offers a form of protection that few predators are willing to challenge. In a place where every calorie matters, why waste precious energy chasing something that is difficult to kill? Yet predation is only part of the story. To truly understand why some deep-sea animals grow so large, we must consider another important factor: time. Because the deep ocean is not only dark and cold, it is also incredibly ancient. While the surface world constantly changes with storms, seasons, and shifting temperatures, the deep sea remains remarkably stable. Temperatures hover just above freezing, pressure remains crushingly high, and darkness is absolute. These conditions have persisted for millions, and because the deep ocean changes so little, there has been little reason for it to evolve dramatically. Isolation also reduces competition. Shallow seas are crowded ecosystems where countless species compete for the same resources. But the deep ocean is immense and surprisingly empty. With fewer rivals and fewer predators, evolutionary experiments can unfold over enormous timescales. In such an environment, growing larger may carry advantages that smaller animals simply cannot achieve. Some deep-sea giants also follow a reproductive strategy known as K-selection. Instead of producing thousands of tiny offspring, these species produce fewer young, but invest far more energy into each one. The giant grenadier fish, for instance, produces relatively large eggs compared to many shallow water fish. These larger embryos hatch with more stored energy, increasing their chances of surviving in a harsh and food-limited environment. It is a slow strategy, but in a stable world, slow strategies can succeed. Creatures grow gradually, they mature late, they reproduce carefully, and over time, some of them become the giants of the abyss. For centuries, sailors told stories about enormous monsters lurking beneath the waves, creatures with massive tentacles capable of pulling entire ships into the depths. Legends of the Kraken spread across maritime folklore, terrifying generations of seafarers. At the time, such stories sounded impossible. But today, science is revealing something extraordinary. Those ancient myths may not have been entirely wrong, because hidden in the darkness of the deep ocean, real giants do exist. For centuries, the ocean inspired some of humanity's most terrifying legends. Sailors spoke of enormous serpents rising from the waves, creatures long enough to coil around ships, thrashing in the dark water beneath stormy skies. Stories spread across cultures of monstrous beings living far below the surface, creatures with impossible size and strength. To early explorers, these tales were not fantasy. They were attempts to explain something they barely understood. The ocean was vast, mysterious, and largely unseen. And sometimes, it revealed something truly strange. When enormous squid occasionally washed ashore, their bodies damaged and decomposing after drifting for days through the sea, they must have looked like creatures from another world. Their tentacles stretched for meters. Their eyes were larger than those of any other animal on Earth, sometimes wider than a dinner plate. And hidden within the mass of arms and suckers was a powerful beak, shaped like that of a giant parrot, capable of slicing through flesh. To sailors encountering such a creature for the first time, the conclusion seemed obvious. They had discovered a monster. But today, science tells a different story. These animals are not monsters. They are survivors perfectly adapted to one of the most extreme environments on our planet. And in many ways, the most astonishing part of the deep sea is not the creatures themselves. The deep ocean is the largest habitat on Earth. More than half of the planet's surface lies thousands of meters below the waves, forming endless plains of darkness known as the abyss. Yet despite its enormous size, this realm remains almost completely unexplored. Scientists estimate that humans have directly observed less than 5% of the ocean floor. In other words, the vast majority of our own planet remains unknown. Every time a research vessel lowers a submersible into the depths, something new